So the skin does grow inside the cracks, and I'm going to explain a little bit more about cracks and how the skin grows while I do some crack maintenance. So it does grow up from the bottom and sheds off on the outer layer, just like all normal skin does. But the cracks look different because they are always ripping. Now, this crack down here, if you can even call it a crack, forms because the skin is actually closing. My foot is folding in on itself, and those flakes don't have anywhere to go, and so they sort of pile up on top of the other flakes, and it makes this weird, not painful crack with these very thick flakes on it that I can just pull up every now and then. This is actually quite tough, though, really hard. I can barely do it with my nail, which is why I usually use the hangnail clippers. My skin is always growing downward toward the heel in these hyperkeratonic plates, but the skin is growing upward out from the bottom at the same time. It's just going to grow in flakes that point toward my heel, and therefore the cracks split upward toward my toe. So these aren't cracks that are going straight down into my foot. That type of crack does happen sometimes on my heel where the skin just splits and the crack is going straight down into my foot. But these cracks, they are generally going up toward my toes, following the reverse direction of the growth of these plates. Like you can see, I'm picking the plates off the side of my foot, so you can see kind of the skin grows in these little flakes. And where the foot needs to flex, and I call these flex points, those plates will rip open a little bit more. So the crack is traveling up toward my toes. But as you can see, I'm sticking my fingernails in here and it's not painful. I know it kind of looks painful, but these cracks are only splitting down to the depth of the callus. They're not splitting below into my fresh skin where there's blood and where there would be pain and causing an open wound. And so this is just about as deep as I would shave, and my foot skin is cracking itself in order to allow my foot to flex. They're really quite unavoidable. Let me clean this up here, and then I'm going to do crack maintenance on that other crack to show you more. So the cracks are always happening, and I find the best way to mitigate them is to relieve the pressure of the thick skin around them. Sometimes I will come in and shave it. Sometimes I will just do a little clipping like I'm doing here. And the theory behind this is that once I take the tough skin off from the edge of the crack, it's going to be able to flex better with that softer skin below and not crack as much. As the skin grows in, it will grow back over the crack and it will get thicker and thicker. And unfortunately, my foot will still need to flex. And so the crack will then travel upward a little bit in the opposite direction the flakes are growing in order to split and allow the flexing. But by clipping the skin back like this, I can, for a brief period of time, make the skin really soft around the crack so that as the skin is growing in from underneath, it's not going to split right away, and there will be healing and recovery. But then as more skin is growing in, those plates will grow down and the cracks will go up toward my foot, and I'll have a new crack just a minuscule amount closer to my toes than this current crack. And so the cracks slowly travel up my foot over the course of a year or two. And, in a year from now, you'll see that this crack will probably be up near my pinky toe. This crack does not move because it's not a crack from stretching apart. It's a crack from the skin piling up on top of itself because my foot flexes the opposite direction. And so I just have to take off that thick skin every now and then. So anyway, a little bit more about cracks. I hope I explained that well. This is the foot I'm not going to shave. When I do the big shave on my left foot, I'm going to leave my right foot. I might have to do a little toe maintenance. I might have to do a little bit of crack maintenance just to keep myself comfortable and safe. But I am going to let this grow out 4 or 5 or 6 months so you guys can see it.